Hi guys, it's your host Krazy Kajeevie for the James Bond Show. Welcome back. I'm the bad boy of James Bond with no fears, limits or substitutes. I've got a great show for you guys. But first of all, guys, a lot of you look up the show and you think, what's Krazy Kajeevie posted? What's happening at the James Bond Show? But you haven't smashed that subscribe button. Maybe you get into the videos from Messenger and it doesn't allow you and you've got to get back into the channel. But please do me a favor, guys. Let's get this high up on the list of James Bond channels. And so it's high up on the list of YouTube and they promote the channel more. So subscribing will be great. Also, smash that like button. It's so important. I put in the time, effort and energy to do these videos. All I ask is you give it a like, you share it, and let's help promote this. Why promote this channel? Because it's the truth about James Bond. We're living in a very, very woke, boring, watered down world at the moment where male film characters are being absolutely assassinated because the top brass, the freaky deakies out there that are into some really, really crazy shit in their private lives, they basically want to take out any male characters and they want to confuse people, and younger people want to confuse their sexuality and make them not tell what's the difference between a male or a female. This is the only James Bond show with a bit of common sense and decency that will speak out, defend James Bond, and defend what is normal. Now, on this show, I am going to do the top 3 realistic contenders, in my opinion, to play James Bond next after Daniel Craig is Gonski. And it doesn't seem like they're going to announce it until No Time to Die is released. Now, I don't believe that's necessary. I really don't believe they need to wait. I think that if they want to get kind of a bit of excitement with the fans and get the show on the road, why not announce the next James Bond? Why not at least look and go through that stage? However, what I think that potentially could do, being fair, not that it would undermine Daniel Craig, because he's not coming back, and he's aged like a mushroom in the sun. Seriously. But I think what it is, they don't want to take away from the hype of No Time to Die when it finally gets released. And hopefully that will be in October. I gotta be honest, I was looking forward to the film being released in April, but not to be. And it's a pity because Australia is pretty much back on board for business in most, everyday life. So April would have been really good, but looks like it's October 6th, and apparently England's going to get it a week early. But what is this video about? Okay, so I'm going to do, like I said before, my top 3. These actors, and there's a real surprise here. There is a big surprise here. So these 3 actors, and it's not necessarily in the order of the thumbnail, but these 3 actors, I've gone through everything. I've gone through their films, and I've shortlisted them. Now, if you guys remember, I did do a list and a top 10 countdown of actors who I think could play James Bond, and a top 10 of actors that I didn't want to play James Bond. So if you haven't seen those videos, check them out. Go through my videos and you will find them. But here, I'm going to do my top 3, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So let's get into this. Number 3. The number 3 actor who I believe should play James Bond. Now, he is the youngest out of my 3. He's the youngest. And what I will say here about this actor, okay, so his name is Nicholas Hoult. Now, even though I've got an order here of 1, 2, and 3, and Nicholas Hoult's at number 3, if Nick Hoult was cast as James Bond, I would be wrapped. No one was talking about this guy, but the James Bond show was smashing out, talking all about Nicholas Hoult and why he should be the next James Bond. Now, I actually think he should be the next James Bond. And you're going to go, Krazy, what are you talking about? He's at number 3, he's not at your number 1. The reason I say that is, he's the youngest, he's only 31, and if we're not going to get another Bond film for, say, 3 years or 4 years, right, so we're going to have him at about 35, let's say 35. perfect age. He's young looking, he's fit, he's ridiculously handsome. He stands at, it says on IMDb 6'2.5", but it's got him at 1.9 metres, so I think he's more like 6'3". He is, like I said before, he's age 31. His films he's done, he's actually going to be in the upcoming, the double feature of Mission Impossible 7 and Mission Impossible 8. He's in Top Gun. He was in Mad Max Fury Road, unrecognisable in that with all the weird white makeup and going like this all the time. Pretty much like that, you know the one. He was in Tolkien, playing Tolkien, and he looked great in that. And that's a film, like, I saw him, I haven't seen the film, but I saw him in the trailer and everything. I'm like, whoa, he's got a real classic Bond look about him. He's also in a very underrated film. I actually love it. I love Big Kitty's films. Jack the Giant Slayer. He's in that. I've got it on 3D, and it's a great piece of entertainment. Ewan McGregor's in it as well. But Jack Holt's the star of that film. He plays Jack. I think he would make a really classic James Bond. Now, he's not married, but he's got a missus. He's got a young family. He is British. He can act. This guy should be James Bond. I mean, in a perfect world, one day he will be James Bond. Now, I think if they don't go for this political correct madness with the name of Reggae Gene Page all around, basically because he's black, that's why the lefties are pushing him. But if Eon Productions, Barbara Broccoli, sticks to common sense and Ian Fleming's 007, and because of the way they've stagnated their films horribly, which I think has got to end, I think Nicholas Hoult will be the next James Bond. He'll be the one on the radar that hits all the right notes. But there's two actors I just love more, and in my world, and I still think realistically, if they're forced to start getting these films out, do a double. Do one like Mission Impossible 7 and 8, and bring out Bond 26 and Bond 27 a year apart or 2 years apart. And if you want to make, have a look what they did with Dr. No, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, Thunderball. My goodness, 4 absolute barnstorming Bond films, classics, all 4 kind of different in a way as well. And they did those, 2 old men in their 50s, 60s, did those films, or mid-50s, they just looked older back in the day because they were, if they can do those films, Barbara Broccoli, get Mickey G's sons on board, because Mickey G's not going to be around for much longer, get some other producers on board, do it as a team, and get 2 or 3 films pumped out from at least 2023, or let's say 2024, 2025, 2026. Pump these films out, Babsy. So, Nicholas Hoult, number 3. My number 2, now this is going to surprise people. And I'm doing this because of the horrible delay of the James Bond films and his age. He's 42. Everyone knows he's my favourite to be James Bond, but because of this, I want to take a more realistic slant. I've got Matthew Good. Matthew Good at number 2 choice to play James Bond. Now, Good is 42. He's 6'2", 1.88. I honestly believe he's a bit taller than that. I think he's more 6'3", especially when you look at him in Watchmen. He's quite a tall guy. He's been in films such as Match Point, Leap Year, Stoker, plays a chilly-willy kind of character in Stoker. Watchmen, like I mentioned before, plays a villain in that, and he is absolutely brilliant in The Imitation Game. I reckon that was his real kind of suave, classy audition as James Bond. Now, he did audition for James Bond back in 2005 for the 2006 Casino Royale. He famously was on a British TV show and said that he didn't feel the current James Bond films were working. I agree with him. He believed that they should go back to Fleming. They should go back to shorter films. I agree with him. They should go back to films more, bring them out more often. We all agree with him. He loves James Bond. He gets James Bond. And when he was put on the spot about Idris Elba, you know, what about Idris Elba and a black Bond? He's like, oh, well, sure, if they're going to do it, just do it. He was put on the spot. The guy does not think Bond should be played by a black actor. There's no way. He was put on the spot. What was he going to do? What was he going to say? He would have been crucified if he said, no, look, Ian Fleming's, if he spoke common sense. If you speak common sense these days, guys, you get crucified. If he had said, no, look, I love Idris and he's great in Luther and whatnot, but he's not Ian Fleming's James Bond. All the real Bond fans would have gone, woo! But the lefties would have tried to end the guy's career and it would have been hashtag Good is a racist, something like that. But I love this guy. I think Matthew Good is so smooth. He's suave. He was also, of course, in Downton Abbey. And damn, he was good in that. The guy looks great in a tux. He's got that real X factor behind his eyes. I believe he could just be, not a hybrid, because I think that's a dangerous word, Pierce Brosnan. I think he could just bring out great parts of like Timothy Dalton, bits of Connery, etc. like that. Probably get him to build up a bit more. He's actually quite muscular and wiry, but maybe broaden him out a bit more, get him in a tuxedo. He will look great, and give him a Lotus car, a new Lotus. Get rid of the DB5. We're all over it. We love it, but we're all over it. Okay, so that is, Matthew Good is my number 2. My number 1 choice to play James Bond after a lot of thought and being realistic, my number 1 choice is, yep, going back like Pierce Brosnan to an Irish actor, Aidan Turner. Aidan Turner, my new number 1 choice, and I've been thinking about this for a lot. Now the reason, he's 1.83, so he's on like 6 foot, which was very Fleming. Fleming's Bond was pretty much 6 foot, 6'1" from memory. He's incredibly good looking. The women love him. Of course, he was very popular in the TV show Paul Dark. He was also in one of those Hobbit films. I haven't seen them. He was in a TV series called The Clinic and Being Human. Now, what I love about Aidan Turner, now of course he was in that other TV series, I can't think of it off the top of my head, where he's in the tuxedo and he's smoking cigarettes, and he was, if anyone can think of the name of it, because I've just gone mental blank, please leave it in the comments below. I have seen most of that series. I think it was a 2-parter, a 3-parter, whatever, and I've seen the first part. And he stole every scene. Every scene he was in, he was so good. And I believe from memory, Gustav Graves, Toby Stevens was in that. He was really good in that as well. Now, what I love about Aidan Turner is they put the microphone to his mouth and they said, oh, you know, what's this about you playing James Bond and do you want to be Bond? And he is probably the only actor that hasn't kissed ass to Eon, kissed ass to the reporter, and he said, well, there's actually an actor currently in the role, so I'm not talking about it. And that was the best answer that any actor, potential actor, has given about playing James Bond. He didn't chase it. He didn't suck up. If you listen to Sam Heughan, Henry Cavill, Reggae, Gene Page, all of them. Oh, you get the Bond badge. Oh, yes, I want to be Bond. Oh, who wouldn't want to do it? Oh, I really want to do it. Not Aidan Turner. Aidan Turner's like, meh. Sorry, someone's in the role. Not talking about it. That guy has mystery about him. Now, I think Aidan Turner would bring back Timothy Dalton. Now, he's not as strong as an actor, and that's why I've never fully wanted him as Bond to, he's always been in my top 3, top 4. But I chose Good over Turner originally because I believe Good is a better natural actor. But I think in this role, and with Turner in smaller stage productions, whether it's stage and smaller films and whatnot, he hasn't hit the big time. Now, none of these actors, they've been in big films, but none of them have hit the big time yet. And this is what makes these 3 guys brilliant, where Henry Cavill is known as Superman, Tom Hardy's in all the big Christopher Nolan films and his Venom, etc. Right? These 3 actors aren't. And Aidan Turner could land, this could be his breakout role. And I would love him to go back to Ian Fleming, and I think he could bring that Timothy Dalton style. So Aidan Turner is my number 1. Now, he's 37 years of age. So get him out in a Bond film. In the next 2 years, you got a 39-year-old Bond. 2-3 years, you got a 40-year-old Bond. Fantastic, fantastic age, especially how youthful he looks. The women love him. I think the men would want to be him as well. And I would love to see him in a more classic style James Bond film and let him be a chauvinist. Let him slap the tushy. Let him be a real man and make him a ruthless killer and let the guy insist he go back to Ian Fleming, the novels like Timothy Dalton did. And I think Aidan Turner is the man. Forget the political correctness crap. Bond's never going to be a woman, right? Forget this black Lashana Lynch 007 stuff. Forget the black James Bond garbage. The only people pushing a black James Bond are the people that have nothing to do with James Bond. They're lefties from Screen Rant and other puff piece garbage that are trying to push this because it makes them hip or makes them cool, or they want to piss off a lot of white people and destroy a classic white male character. And that's exactly what James Bond is. Now, of course, the other James Bond shows out there don't have the balls to say what I say. I say it because I truly love Ian Fleming's James Bond. Now, I know a lot of them do too, but they don't have the balls to say it because, well, they lack balls and they don't have the guts. Me here at the James Bond show, I say it, I see it, I say it, because I don't care about Babs knocking on my door and asking me to come and visit the set of the new Bond film. It's never going to happen. But I love what her father did. I love what Eon Productions has done for the most part of James Bond. But recently, Babs and Mickey came out and they said, well, James Bond can be black, but he's got to be a male. Guys, please never ever give in to political correctness ever. And as I've told everyone that watches the James Bond show here with Krazy Kajeevie, my best friend is black, okay? There's no racism in this. This is about keeping Ian Fleming's Bond. So, my top three again, Nicholas Hoult at number 3, Matthew Good at number 2, Aidan Turner, the perfect choice to be James Bond 007. Let me know, guys, in the comments below what you think, and do not forget, guys, please smash that subscribe button, share this video, drop a like, and leave a comment. God bless, guys. Till next time, keep on bonding, say hi to your mum for me, and take the vaccine!